reminded me of, I was listening to this podcast over Christmas, and there's actually like a workshop, and you have to apply to be accepted. They only take 50 people, but I don't remember the name of it, but they were talking about it, and you are hiking like one of the days, or it's like 2 of the days. Your entire task for the day is to hike up and down this hill until you reach the equivalent of hiking, I don't know, it's like they pick like a mountain or something like that. And that's just like what you do for 2 days. And it's this whole business workshop. It's very interesting.
Just go walk the Camino. Really. I mean, that's something we should do. I mean, maybe we could do a workshop or a retreat where we guide a long walk on the Camino, 7 days or something. But
holy smokes.
Whenever, at least my own experience walking the Camino, when your only task for the day is to wake up, eat, and walk, eat, walk, eat, sleep, it changes the stuff that's happening in your head.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was fascinating.
This might come as a surprise, but I'm not really like an outdoorsy kind of girl, so so what you just said I think would really change me as a person.
And it's not for everybody. Everybody challenges themselves in different ways. So what do you think would be a major challenge for you? Something that would push you really far outside your comfort zone?
Doing what you just said, because that isn't something that I would ever do. Doing that, and then I think half of the problem with my personality, because I was just sitting here and I was like, well, that would probably make me uncomfortable for like a day, but then I probably would be super into it, and I'd be like, everyone needs to do this. So I'm just trying to think of what makes me uncomfortable. Not a whole lot.
So it's funny, as I was asking you the question, what I was picturing in my head was a little teeny cabin, like a one-person cabin on the beach.
Already having anxiety.
On the beach?
By myself?
Yes.
I'm having major anxiety. That's what it is. That pushes me on my car. I don't like being alone. I hate being alone. I can't even stay in our own house by myself. I hate it.
Is that why you got a dog?
Oh, well, I got a dog for many reasons. They're cute. They're a great companion. Yeah, no, that is part of the reason, because Aaron travels for work, and like sometimes he has to be gone for like a night or something, and I kid you not, when he first started doing that, I didn't sleep. I was up the entire night. So yeah, I guess that makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I have a very unrealistic fear that somebody is breaking into my home, or that somebody is going to kidnap me, and I understand I'm not a kid, so that doesn't really fully make sense, but I still have that major fear. I have no idea what it is.
Mm-hmm.
No idea. So yeah, there we go. We found it.
So would you feel comfortable walking the Camino if Aaron were with you?
Yeah.
Then it would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did it alone? Absolutely not.
Nope.
So I walked it with my husband.
Okay.
And I have to admit, I had a lot of fear around walking it by myself, which is why I was either going to bring a friend or Carl was going to come with me. But then when I started walking, so much of it, even though you're walking with somebody else there, you're walking by yourself.
Right.
Because the trails are often narrow, and so there's one person in front of the other.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I was always the one in front because my husband hikes faster than I do. So he would hike behind me because he didn't want to get too far ahead of me.
Oh, that makes sense.
But I also talked to a lot of people. A close friend of mine, Ruthie, who lives here in Mansfield, also hiked the Camino with a girlfriend, and they just hiked at different paces. So they would meet up at predetermined stopping points in different cities, and they would have lunch together or they'd have dinner together, and they spent the night in the same hostels.
Okay.
But they were essentially walking by themselves.
Interesting.
So there's all different ways that you can do something like that. What was that sound?
Oh no,
It
something.
wasn't. It
Sounded like a
wasn't
grenade
that
went off.
door. I'm mentally making a note of all these little things to tell Carl what the different, challenges to podcasting in this space.
That is super interesting, though. I wonder what my fear from being alone it truly comes from. It's once it gets dark. I'm fine being alone during the day, but once that sun sets, you better believe I'm not going to be by myself.
I have a fear of the dark. And it's something I work through all the time. My husband and I live on a farm.
Right.
We used to have 2 German Shepherds,
Oh, so cute.
which, believe it or not, were very much a comfort, especially when I was by myself. And yet my husband would still encourage us to go walking in the summer after dark, which there's a whole section, our drive is about a mile long. There's a whole section that is in a dark woods. And walking through those woods, even with Carl and the 2 dogs, would scare me out of my mind.
Yeah, same.
And it was this mental conversation in my head that was, you're going to be okay, 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 constantly over and over and over again as I was walking through those dark areas.
Yeah.
And even thinking about it, I can
I'm honestly a little tingling over here right now. I'm I don't think I could. I don't know if it's because there's so many crazy people in the world, but half of the reason why I'm so scared of the dark and why I wouldn't do that outside is because the entire time I would be thinking somebody's in these woods and they're about to jump out and kill me. That's not a rational thought. I understand that. But, it happens.
Oh, that's my chime.
And we ended on that thought. Careful of the woods, everyone.
I always tell myself when we're walking the poem, I think it's Robert Frost. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, and I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. And I can't remember the rest of the poem. But I often tell myself that over and over again.
Does it help?
It does, actually. It focuses my mind.
I don't know.
So who wants to say goodbye? Do we all want to say goodbye? Evan's shaking his head no.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Thanks again for joining us today. If you'd like to connect with us on social media, you can find Annamarie at Mindfully Annamarie. You can find myself at Emily VDW, and you can find Evan at _Evan Ryan. We'll talk to you next week.